Hey, my name is Hannah Hill, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Foundation for Gun Rights. And today, the Supreme Court denied our request for emergency relief from the Illinois assault weapons ban. While this is disappointing, it's not entirely surprising and it's not entirely bad news, and we're going to talk about why. But first, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date with updates on this case and other Second Amendment issues. And if you want to get involved in the fight, please click the link in the description and the pinned comment down below to sign petitions. And if you text the number displayed on the screen, we will keep you up to date on the latest Second Amendment news via text message. Now, just by way of reminder, we have 7 lawsuits across the country challenging semi-auto bans and standard capacity magazine bans. One of those lawsuits was against the city of Naperville, Illinois, which had recently enacted a ban on the sale of AR-15s shortly after the Supreme Court's Bruin ruling upholding the Second Amendment. So we filed a lawsuit against it. Then the Illinois legislature followed suit and banned semi-automatic weapons statewide. So we expanded our lawsuit to go after that law as well. We asked the district court for a temporary restraining order to block these unconstitutional gun bans immediately, but the judge said no in one of the worst anti-Second Amendment rulings we have ever seen. So we appealed that to the 7th Circuit. We asked them to block the laws immediately and throughout the duration of the case. They also said no, at least to the immediate block, the injunction pending appeal we were asking for. The preliminary injunction, which would have blocked the laws throughout the duration of the case, that is still pending at the 7th Circuit. However, a right delayed is a right denied, and our plaintiff in Naperville, local gun store owner Robert Beavis, who owns Law Weapons and Supply there in Naperville, he is facing the loss of his business possibly due to these unconstitutional gun bans. So we appealed to the Supreme Court, and we asked for emergency relief from both of these laws. Now, the Supreme Court rarely issues anything on an emergency basis. Their practice is to wait to step in until the lower court process is complete. So, our appeal for emergency relief was always a long shot. But in the interest of the Second Amendment, we thought it was worth a try. Now, when we appealed, 2 interesting things happened. Number 1, Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who handles emergency appeals from the 7th Circuit, asked Illinois and Naperville for a response. Essentially, she turned to the city of Naperville and the state of Illinois and said, now give me your best explanation of why I should not grant this relief. That in and of itself was unexpected. We thought she would simply say no. Second, the 7th Circuit expedited our case. They knew that if they dragged their feet, the Supreme Court was a lot more likely to step in. And in a Second Amendment challenge out of New York, for instance, the Supreme Court denied an emergency appeal, but essentially told the 2nd Circuit, y'all speed it up though, or else. So, the 7th Circuit gambled on the fact that if they put us on the rocket docket, as our lawyer called it, the Supreme Court would wait to step in. And that appears to be exactly what has happened. If the Supreme Court had granted emergency relief to us now, that would only have been temporary. It would not be on the merits. It would not be binding on the case itself. That means that the 7th Circuit could still rule against us, and the Supreme Court would then have to step in a second time. Now, this way, the Supreme Court is going to wait to let the 7th Circuit rule against us, and all signs point to the fact that that is quite likely. And then, when we appeal again to the Supreme Court, at that point it will be on the merits. A ruling at that point will be directly binding on the case itself, and we have a much better chance of getting Supreme Court review then. Now, right now, oral argument on the preliminary injunction motion at the 7th Circuit is scheduled for June the 29th, and we hope to see a ruling soon afterwards. And if they rule against the Second Amendment again, we will officially be appealing to the Supreme Court on the merits of the case. One thing is certain, the ban on commonly owned weapons protected by the Second Amendment are coming to an end very quickly. We know the Supreme Court is watching this issue closely. We know that they are interested, or they would have denied our emergency request immediately. And the issue of assault weapons bans will ultimately be decided by the Supreme Court. They will very soon be called upon to enforce their Bruin precedent on a nation full of lower courts determined to ignore both Bruin and the Second Amendment. So we keep fighting, and we need your help. If you would like to contribute to our legal fund to help us keep up the pressure against semi-auto bans all over the country, there's a link in the comments for that below. And please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on this lawsuit and on other Second Amendment issues. Thank you.